can't believe you did that!
What was I supposed to do?
You could have told me the truth!
I was scared! The door! Open the door, please!
Port Jervis, New York is the kind of town where nothing stays hidden for long. Streets end quietly. Neighbors recognize one another by name, face, routine. When emergency sirens break the silence, people notice. On the morning of March 29, 1998, the sirens did not stop. Less than 10 hours earlier, Tina Entwistle stood inside a church smiling as she walked down the aisle. Witnesses describe her expression as calm, emotional, relieved. She cried through most of the ceremony. Family members later told investigators her tears did not come from fear or doubt. They came from relief. Relief from years of instability, failed relationships, and raising children alone. Tina Entwistle was 30 years old. She was a single mother of 3, recently pregnant again, and known among friends as independent and protective. Those close to her said she did not trust easily. When she did, she trusted fully. The groom was her neighbor, Louis Deli. Friends described him as quiet, polite, and reserved. He lived next door. He offered help often, shoveling snow, taking out trash, helping with small tasks. Tina usually declined. Over time, she stopped declining. At approximately 3 p.m. on Saturday, March 28, 1998, Tina Entwistle and Louis Deli were pronounced husband and wife. Guests applauded. The couple kissed. The ceremony ended without incident. Several hours later, Tina Entwistle would be dead. The wedding reception followed the ceremony. Witnesses report no visible disturbance. Music played. Guests ate, drank, laughed. The bride and groom danced together. Photographs from the reception show both smiling. No guest reported seeing physical violence. Some later recalled mild tension. Nothing unusual for a wedding day. After the reception, a group of guests returned to the couple's home on First Street. The house was small, white, and located at the end of a dead-end road. Music continued. Children ran through the house. Conversations overlapped in English and Spanish. According to multiple statements, Tina did not want the day to end. Shortly after midnight, the atmosphere changed. Several guests noticed raised voices coming from upstairs. Witnesses later described hearing banging. One guest attempted to open the bedroom door and found it locked. Family members said Tina never locked her bedroom door. Moments later, screaming erupted. Neighbors reported hearing shouting and panic. One neighbor told police she looked out her window and saw people running into the street. Others said they heard a man screaming for help. The noise woke residents on nearby streets. At approximately 10:01 a.m., a 911 call came in reporting an emergency at 10.5 First Street. The caller could not clearly explain what had happened. Dispatchers noted confusion and distress in the caller's voice. Police arrived to find chaos. Multiple individuals were outside the residence. Some were screaming, some were crying. Officers secured the scene and ordered family members away from the house. Emergency medical personnel were already tending to a wounded man on a stretcher in front of the home. That man was the groom, Louis Deli. He was alive. He was bleeding. Witnesses said he appeared disoriented. Blood was visible on his clothing. EMS transported him to the hospital under police supervision. Inside the house, officers followed a trail of blood leading upstairs. At the top of the stairs, blood was smeared along the walls. Broken glass lay near the bathroom. In the bedroom, officers found Tina Entwistle lying on the floor. She was still wearing her wedding dress. The dress, described earlier that day as champagne pink, was soaked dark with blood. Officers noted multiple visible wounds. She was alive but unresponsive. A newborn baby lay asleep in a crib just feet away. Emergency responders attempted life-saving measures. Family members were forced to leave the room. One sibling later said leaving her there felt impossible. Tina Entwistle was transported to the hospital. She would not survive. As police worked the scene, another development unfolded outside. A man later identified as Angel Deli, the groom's brother, was seen running from the house. Witnesses reported seeing him holding a knife. Tina's brother Frank chased him down the street. The pursuit disappeared into the darkness. Minutes later, a body fell from a second-floor window. It was Louis Deli. He landed unconscious and bleeding. Investigators would later determine he had exited through the bathroom window. How and why he went through that window became a critical question. Within an hour, police located Angel Deli hiding nearby. He had discarded a bloody shirt. Officers recovered a knife from a recycling bin near the residence. Angel admitted he had held the knife. He denied stabbing Tina. According to Angel, the knife had originally been in Louis Deli's possession. He claimed Louis was attempting to harm himself. He said he intervened, grabbed the knife, and fled when he realized others had seen him holding it. At the time, investigators had 3 facts. The bride was critically injured. The groom was wounded, but alive. The groom's brother had been seen with the weapon. Nothing else was clear. Tina and Twistle died later that day from multiple stab wounds. The murder stunned Port Jervis. It was the first homicide in the town in more than 3 years. Officers who knew Tina personally described the scene as deeply distressing. Seeing a woman in a wedding dress dead beside her newborn child left a lasting impact. Investigators began reconstructing the final hours leading up to the attack. Witness statements poured in. Some described jealousy. Some described arguments. Others insisted the couple had been happy. One fact was undeniable. 10 hours after exchanging vows, Tina and Twistle was dead. Her husband was hospitalized, and the truth about what happened behind the closed bedroom door was only beginning to surface. Investigators did not begin with motives. They began with movement. Who went where? Who heard what? Who saw whom? And when inside the small house on First Street, space was limited. Every sound carried. Every step left a trace. The reception at the house had continued for hours without incident. Music played from 2 sources, English songs in one room, Spanish music in another. Children moved between rooms. Adults sat in clusters, eating, drinking, talking. Several guests later told police the atmosphere felt relaxed and joyful. Shortly after midnight, witnesses noticed a shift. Multiple guests reported seeing tension between the bride and groom. The trigger, according to several statements, involved a brief interaction between Tina and Twistle and one of Louis Deli's relatives. Tina had a habit of playing matchmaker. On this night, she appeared to be joking with a cousin, trying to introduce him to her friend. Several witnesses said Louis reacted with visible irritation. No shouting occurred downstairs. No physical confrontation. Just a change in demeanor. One guest described Louis as withdrawn. Another said he looked angry but said nothing. At some point, Tina and Louis went upstairs. Witnesses disagree on who initiated the move. Some said Tina suggested they talk privately. Others said Louis walked away first. What is consistent across statements is this: once upstairs, the couple was alone. Minutes later, loud noises were heard. Family members described hearing banging, thudding, and raised voices. The sounds were strong enough to cause concern. One of Tina's sisters went upstairs and tried the bedroom door. It did not open. This detail mattered. Family members told police Tina never locked her bedroom door. Ever? The sister knocked. No response. She knocked harder. Still nothing. Panic set in. She began pounding on the door and calling Tina's name. When the door finally opened, the scene inside was already catastrophic. Blood was everywhere. Witnesses described Tina on the floor, bleeding heavily. Cuts were visible on her arms, face, and torso. Blood streaked the walls. The bathroom door was open. Broken glass from the shower stall littered the floor. Standing near the bathroom doorway was a man holding a knife. That man was Angel Deli. Angel is the brother of Louis Deli. Several witnesses identified him immediately. Tina's brother Frank lunged toward Angel. A struggle followed. Angel fled the room. Frank chased him down the stairs and out into the street. At this point, confusion peaked. Some guests ran outside. Others screamed for help. Someone called 911. Nobody fully understood what had happened or who had done what. Moments later, a body fell from the second-floor window. That body was Louis Deli. He landed outside unconscious, bleeding, and severely injured. Investigators later determined he exited through the bathroom window. The window was broken. Blood was found on the sill. The order of events inside the bedroom became the focus of the investigation. Detectives began with physical evidence. Blood patterns showed movement from the bedroom into the bathroom and back again. Blood spatter on the walls indicated repeated force. Tina's wounds were numerous and located in multiple areas of her body. The medical examiner later documented stab wounds to the chest, under the breast, the abdomen, the back near the shoulder, and a severe wound to the eye. Defensive injuries were present on her arms and hands. This was not a single blow. This was sustained violence. The baby remained asleep in the crib throughout the attack. Investigators noted the knife recovered from a recycling bin. It matched wounds found on Tina's body. The blade was consistent with a knife kept in the bedroom dresser, according to later testimony. Angel Deli's account came first. He admitted holding the knife. He denied stabbing Tina. He claimed he found Lewis in the bathroom attempting to harm himself. According to Angel, he grabbed the knife to stop Lewis. He said Tina's brother then saw him holding it and chased him. Afraid, he fled and discarded his shirt. Detectives did not accept the explanation at face value. The blood evidence contradicted key parts of Angel's statement. Blood distribution suggested the primary assault occurred in the bedroom, not solely in the bathroom. Tina's injuries did not align with a self-inflicted struggle scenario. Attention turned to Lewis Deli. Lewis was hospitalized with injuries to his hands and body. Detectives interviewed him after doctors stabilized his condition. His demeanor stood out immediately. When informed Tina had died, officers reported his response as flat. His reaction was minimal. He asked how it happened. When told she died from stab wounds, he said only, "Oh." This response was noted in reports. Lewis gave his account. He claimed an argument escalated upstairs. He said Tina made hurtful remarks. He described feeling humiliated and angry. According to Lewis, Tina retrieved the knife first. He said they struggled over it. He admitted stabbing her twice. The forensic findings did not support this claim. Tina had far more than 2 stab wounds. Some were deep, some were forceful. The location of injuries, including the eye, indicated intent to cause fatal harm. Lewis also described losing all feelings for Tina during the argument. Investigators found this statement troubling given the timing. The couple had been married less than a day. Detectives also noted this detail. Lewis knew where the knife was kept. Witnesses confirmed Tina kept a knife in the dresser for household use. Lewis had access to it. He lived in the house. He knew the layout. He knew where items were stored. More witness statements surfaced. Several guests recalled prior moments of jealousy during the relationship. Comments about Tina looking at other men. Questions about who she was talking to. These moments were often dismissed at the time as insecurity. In hindsight, investigators viewed them differently. Tina's family described her as strong and outspoken. When confronted, she did not back down. Witnesses believed she told Lewis to leave the house during the argument. Some said she removed her wedding ring and threw it. This detail aligned with Lewis's emotional state as described in interviews. Being told to leave on his wedding night in front of family may have intensified his anger. Forensic evidence showed Tina fought back. Defensive wounds confirmed she tried to protect herself. Blood on the floor showed movement. She was not incapacitated immediately. The attack unfolded over time. Investigators reconstructed a likely sequence. An argument escalated upstairs. The knife was introduced. Lewis controlled the weapon. Tina attempted to defend herself. She was stabbed repeatedly. Angel entered at some point and saw the knife in Lewis's hand. A struggle followed. Lewis fled through the bathroom window. Angel fled downstairs holding the knife. Tina collapsed. This reconstruction fit the physical evidence. It did not fit Lewis's narrative. Police placed Lewis under arrest at the hospital for second-degree murder. He was guarded by officers. Charges were filed. The investigation shifted from chaos to prosecution. Tina Entwistle's death was no longer a mystery of confusion. It became a case built on evidence, wounds, timelines, and contradictions. The final questions remained. Why did the argument escalate so fast? Why did no one intervene sooner? And how did a wedding night end in such extreme violence? After the house on First Street fell silent, the investigation accelerated. Detectives no longer treated the scene as an unknown disturbance. Evidence pointed in one direction. Statements began to collapse under scrutiny. Police secured the residence for several days. Crime scene technicians documented blood patterns, broken glass, and the damaged bathroom window. Each stain told part of a sequence. Movement, struggle, flight. The medical examiner completed a full autopsy on Tina and Twistle. Findings confirmed a violent and sustained attack. Multiple stab wounds were present across vital areas. Defensive injuries showed active resistance. The cause of death was ruled homicide due to multiple sharp force injuries. Detectives compared those findings against Lewis Deli's hospital statement. Lewis claimed 2 stab wounds. The body showed far more. Lewis described a brief struggle. The wounds showed prolonged violence. Lewis suggested emotional detachment during the argument. Investigators noted emotional flatness after notification of death. Each inconsistency tightened focus. Police conducted additional interviews with wedding guests. Patterns emerged. Several witnesses described jealous behavior during the relationship. Others recalled arguments dismissed as normal at the time. No witness reported prior physical violence. Several reported control through tone, questioning, and suspicion. Family members described Tina as direct and unyielding during conflict. When pushed, she stood ground. Detectives believed the confrontation upstairs escalated after Tina told Lewis to leave the house. The wedding ring became symbolic evidence. Tina removing the ring and throwing the ring carried weight. Officers viewed the act as rejection. Rejection on a wedding night carried emotional significance. Angel Deli's involvement was reassessed. Investigators cleared Angel as the primary attacker. Blood evidence supported intervention rather than initiation. Angel's flight created confusion, though forensic analysis did not support a fatal role. The knife recovered from the recycling bin matched wounds. Fingerprint and blood analysis linked the weapon to the bedroom scene. The knife belonged to the household. Lewis knew location and access. Police arrested Lewis Deli for second-degree murder while under hospital care. Officers remained present at all times. Once released from medical supervision, Lewis transferred to county custody. During further questioning, Lewis admitted stabbing Tina. The admission did not align with medical findings. Prosecutors prepared charges using physical evidence rather than confession language. The case moved quickly. Public reaction in Port Jervis was intense. News spread fast through the community. Many residents attended the wedding. Many had returned to the house after the reception. The contrast between celebration and death unsettled the town. The funeral occurred 4 days later. The same pastor who officiated the wedding delivered the eulogy. Guests who attended both events described emotional shock. Faces from celebration reappeared in mourning. No separation existed between joy and grief. Tina and Twistle left behind 4 children. 3 were old enough to ask questions. 1 was too young to form memory. Family members assumed guardianship responsibilities. Conversations about explanation began immediately. Mental health professionals later described survivor guilt among siblings. Family members questioned presence, timing, and intervention. Such responses align with trauma patterns following sudden violent loss. Lewis Deli entered a plea agreement. He pled guilty to second-degree murder. The court sentenced him to 20 years to life in state prison. The sentence acknowledged intent, sustained violence, and severity. Lewis currently serves the sentence at Sing Sing Correctional Facility in Ossining, New York. During sentencing, Lewis stated remorse. He claimed lack of memory regarding portions of the attack. Tina's family rejected those statements. Family members stated actions outweighed words. One statement from Tina's brother summarized family sentiment. Any man who uses a weapon against a woman shows fear, not strength. The case closed legally. Emotional closure never followed. Port Jervis changed after the murder. Residents locked doors more often. Domestic disputes drew faster attention. Conversations shifted toward warning signs, jealousy, and control. Tina and Twistle moved to Port Jervis seeking safety and peace. The town offered community and calm. Violence entered from inside the home rather than outside. The final irony remained unavoidable. A woman escaped a violent past only to die in a place chosen for protection. A wedding intended as a new beginning became an ending. The case stands as a reminder of one truth learned too late. Danger sometimes hides behind familiar faces, quiet manners, and promises spoken at an altar.